Hello again, YouTube. I've just finished uploading the latest comic book collecting video that I've just made, which is where I had 4 new Silver Age books for my collection, and I was thinking about what I could do next in terms of a kind of a reference video to do with comic book collecting. And one thing that I've wanted to do for a little while now is discuss some of the online resources that I use when I'm doing anything to do with the hobby, really, whether I'm grading or buying new books or doing some research on books to buy, or just chilling out and looking at some other people's collections or discussing the hobby, or anything really. The nice thing about having a hobby like this is that it can pretty much absorb a lot of your life, and you can be sitting at work or doing anything really, and having a think about it, and being involved in discussion about it, and it's a nice part of your life. So when you're online, you have 1,000,001 different things you can be looking at that can be useful or interesting, and I'm sure most of you guys will know most of these, but there are some that you probably won't, and that you might want to check out. So if I'm doing anything to do with my comic books, I generally have one or more, or sometimes all of these windows open at any given time. So first of all, we have YouTube, which you should be familiar with because you're watching it now. Obviously, YouTube's really good fun for just checking out other people's videos of their collections. Quite often people have some informative videos as well. I'm attempting to do that, and I'm attempting to add to that in terms of how to grade books successfully, and videos like this one where I show you where else you can go with the hobby. YouTube's great. You can subscribe to people. Other people can subscribe to you. It's great fun to upload videos. I know that I've got a lot more enjoyment out of the hobby since I've begun making videos, and I intend to do a lot more. There's a great community which I've spoken about before, so I won't go into YouTube into detail about YouTube too much. You guys should probably know, but if you just run searches for whatever you're interested in, you might put in Bronze Age X-Men, and you'll come up with hundreds of videos of people that have uploaded stuff to do with Bronze Age X-Men. Just have a play with it. You'll find some great collection videos, and obviously people that you like will put up videos all the time. Next, I want to talk about eBay. eBay is great for finding bargains. Obviously, eBay can be dangerous sometimes because you're relying on people's honesty and accuracy, and quite often the times you'll pick up a bargain is when the people selling the books don't know a great deal about what they're selling. Again, eBay is something that I have spoken about quite a lot in the past, so I don't want to dwell on it, but there are some useful things you can do on eBay. One thing I know that I do all the time is when I find myself buying one or more books from a certain seller, you can save sellers. So if I know someone is a great source in the UK of Silver Age books, and he always starts all his auctions from a penny or something, then I'll save him, and I'll check out what they've kind of put on online every week. But no, eBay is great, and as I said, I've discussed it in the past, so I won't go into too much more detail about eBay, but good place to pick up books at a bargain. Again, this is something I mentioned in passing, comicspriceguide.com. It's what I use alongside Overstreet, first of all, as a price guide. Comicspriceguide.com is updated all the time, and it tends to be more of an accurate reflection on what books will actually go for in the market. If Overstreet is like the Stanley Gibbons would be in the stamp world, Comics Price Guide is like a street price. It's not so much of a list price. So, sometimes they can work out more than the Overstreet purely because they keep up with trends a lot quicker than they can publish an annual copy of the Overstreet. So more often than not, books are actually less because especially things like lower grade Silver Age, they might get a high Overstreet indicative price, but in actual fact, they're being picked up for peanuts on eBay, so the Comics Price Guide price will reflect that. You have to subscribe in order to be able to, or you have to subscribe, I think is the right word, or set up an account with them to actually access all of their data. But it's free, absolutely free. So I would recommend doing that. I've done that myself. My username on there is Kaikilius, and that brings me on to the next thing, which is they have fantastic forums on there as well. And comic book forums, especially active ones like this, are a great place to much the same way as you can do with YouTube. You can upload your new purchases and people give their opinion on them. You can assist with helping people to grade books. We'll get onto that in a minute. And just generally have interesting conversations about comic books. And again, just your knowledge of the hobby will jump forward light years as soon as you start getting involved in these discussions and things. And there's some really interesting topics to do with where the hobby's going, and good ways to pick up bargains, and how things might change with films coming out and stuff like that. So definitely check out these forums, and this one's a particularly good one. Moving forward again, I've got another forum. This is the CGC forum. Again, I can't remember exactly what the basic website is, but if you just Google CGC forum, you'll get through to this page. This is the official Collectors Society forums. There's one for coins, one for a couple of bits and bobs, but this one's particularly for comic books. And much as with the last place, it's a great resource for actually finding out a bit more about the hobby. And it always has a thread to do with this one's called "Hey Buddy, Can You Spare a Grade?" And it's people will upload a scan of a book like this one, and hopefully, this one's actually just looks to be like it's got a front on it. It's uploaded a back scan here. People will scan their books in high resolution, and you can have a pop at grading it. And everyone will put in their little two penneth, their opinion. And it's really nice to see. It's quite nice to not scroll down first of all, have a quick look at it, come up with an idea of what you think it would be, and then scroll down and see how closely your opinion matches everyone else's. And it can sometimes, they'll point out something that you wouldn't have noticed, or you might disagree, but it's a really good way of kind of keeping your grading accuracy up to scratch, and checking that you're not way out with certain opinions that you might have about grading. And it's just an interesting thing to do, and you're actually offering somebody a service, because although obviously it's nothing professional, if you're unsure of a book, you can upload it to this as well, and people will offer their collective opinion on it. So it's a really good thing to get involved with. This is the last forum that I was going to speak about, and this is quite a small, tight-knit community. I think it's Lyria or Lyria, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but it's more to do with comic book investing and speculating, and seeing comic books more as an investment commodity. But the guys on here do still have a huge passion for the books, but it's more to do with how best to invest your money, which books are going up, which books are going down, following trends. If you're into that side of the hobby at all, definitely give this board a check out. It's not as frequently updated as others, because there's only quite a small, tight-knit community of guys that actually go on there. I haven't put a huge number of posts on, but again, my username's Kaikilius, so feel free to go on there and PM me or whatever. But yeah, definitely another good resource if you're interested at all in the investment side. The guys there really know their stuff. They've been in the hobby for years and years and years, and they make quite a lot of sort of high value investments and things on there, and it's interesting to see people's opinions again. So moving on, what have I got here? This is just another comic books price guide page. This is actually the how the page looks if you're looking at the grading data. So you've got this big long list of this is Tales to Astonish. Price data. So you pick up a Tales to Astonish book, so you can click on issue 15, and it'll show you a larger scan of the book with absolutely every single grade, with the indicative price. And they've now added this great thing, which is a graded value. So this is what it's worth if it was CGC graded. So you'll see that it's actually the same all the way up till you get to the higher grades, and that's when CGC starts coming into its own and the CGC side starts accelerating away from the raw or ungraded value. So it's really useful to see. And as I said, it's just an idea. It's just an indicative sort of reference point, but they're based on actual sales data and stuff, and it is really useful resource. So I strongly recommend getting your free account with these guys so you can access all this stuff. Just checking what I'm on there. Oh, nothing. Okay, forget that. The last thing I wanted to talk about is, it's not so much a resource. Well, it is a resource. It's just an interesting thing to read. This is Mile High Comics, who I have no direct dealing with because they are an American-based online comic retailer, and they are very well known in America. So I'm sure you guys have heard of them if you're over from the States. But what I use this for, I know that there's quite contentious debate about this man here, Chuck Rozanski. He's the president, and he set up the company, and it's his baby, Mile High. And I'll maybe talk about him and Mile High in a completely separate video, because I'm running out of time here anyway, and there's a lot to talk about. But essentially, he found, I think it was in the 70s, the largest and still the most famous and incredible golden age, mostly golden age comic book collection sort of ever found, and it's an amazing story in itself. And what he has done in the past is upload all these stories and things that he's written, and it's a link just down here called Tales from the Database. I really recommend you guys go to Mile High Comics, click on this link, and running right the way from 2001 all the way up to, where do they end? 2009. All these fantastic stories and opinions and stuff done by Chuck that he's uploaded, and he really knows his stuff. And as I said, sometimes it can be quite contentious, but he's very open and honest about that. And he says, you might not necessarily agree with me, but here's what I have to say. And if you're interested at all in comic books, you'll love reading the story about the original Mile High collection, the discovery of it. It goes, where are we? It runs to like 17 parts to do with how he actually originally found this incredible comic book collection, and what he did afterwards, and how he went about getting it. And there's actually a Mile High 2 collection, which not a lot of people know about, which is quite sort of a seedy and interesting story. This really dodgy deal that went on that he was involved with. Obviously he wasn't involved in the dodgy side, but involved him having to sort of take protection with him to actually get it sorted out, because the guy he was buying from was in a lot of financial trouble, and there was a guy who was in prison, and it's really interesting, really cool stuff. You wouldn't think that comics would lead to all this kind of palaver. But yeah, definitely check this out. It's another really good resource, and hours and hours worth of interesting reading. And just to give you an idea of the kind of interesting insights that he'd come out with, I was going to read something, but thinking about it, I can't find it now. So what I'll do is I'll add it in the little comments, not the comments, the information section under this video. And you can have a little read of some of Chuck's insights, and hopefully you'll agree that it's quite wise words, and you might want to check it out further. So, sorry this has been kind of a waffly video, but hopefully you can take something away from it, and maybe check out some of these sites, and use some of the resources that are out there, because comic book collecting's it's all about community really, as much as anything else, and there's a huge global community and massive online presence, and it's really good to get involved in, and there's a lot of interesting stuff out there. So if you love the hobby, hopefully check out some of these sites, and leave your comments and let me know how you get on, and if you have any more suggestions for places that people can look, by all means, again, stick them in the comments, and encourage other people to check them out. So as I said, if you could like the video and subscribe to me and check out my other videos, and generally kind of try and nurture the online comic community that we have, and let's take things forward. So until next time, I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.